This hero might be young, but he's got a long history. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Shazam Easter eggs.
I'm Batman.
Get him, Batman!
For this list, we're looking at those brief moments, shots, and/or subtle nods in Shazam that make reference to the source material, the wider DC film universe, and pop culture. Please note, there are spoilers ahead.
He used his power for revenge, releasing the 7 deadly sins into your world.
Number 10. Freddie Freeman's superhero memorabilia. Before getting his powers, Billy Batson seems pretty ambivalent about superheroes in general.
If you could have one superpower, flight or invisibility, what would you pick? Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation.
Lucky for him, his foster brother and new best friend Freddy is there to help him get up to speed. Freddy is a major fan of the real-world heroes that inhabit the DC film universe.
Can I keep this?
And while this film story is relatively isolated from the Justice League, Freddy's collection of superhero memorabilia firmly plants Shazam within that shared universe.
Oh yeah, that's the old Batarang. I mean, it's a replica, but feel how sharp. Could kill you in your sleep with that thing.
In addition to a number of newspaper clippings about heroes, Freddy proudly shows off a replica Batarang and a bullet that has allegedly been fired at Superman.
Behold the Holy Grail. One 9mm round shot at Superman himself. It's legit. Probably worth, I don't know, 500, 600, maybe more.
Everywhere you look around his room, there are mugs, magazines, action figures, and even pop superhero psychology books. Number 9. A cameo for Annabelle. When David F. Sandberg was announced as the director of Shazam, people were admittedly confused.
Wait, for real?
Shazam was being set up as a lighthearted, family-oriented superhero movie, reminiscent of films like The Goonies and Home Alone, while Sandberg's filmmaking experience was in the horror genre. Ultimately, however, the director more than proved himself up to the task of tackling different genres. That being said, there were still some nice nods to his horror past, including a blink-and-you'll-miss-it cameo from the evil Annabelle doll, who Sandberg previously directed in Annabelle Creation. The doll can be spotted on a shelf in the pawn shop where Billy tricks the cops. Considering that Annabelle also popped up in James Wan's Aquaman, is she officially part of the DC canon now? Number 8. CC Beck. When we first meet Billy Batson, he's stirring up a whole lot of trouble, trapping police officers so he can sneak into their car.
Very good, very funny. Very funny, that's great, that's hilarious.
As we soon realize, however, all of Billy's mischief is motivated by an incredibly sympathetic desire. He wants to find his parents. Sadly, Billy's eventual reunion with his mom doesn't go as planned. The scene is pretty heartbreaking.
What's this?
Marilyn, what's going on out there?
You might need it more than me.
Though it doesn't do Billy much good, comic book fans were likely able to take at least a small comfort in the name of Billy's father, CC Batson.
Your parents' names are Marilyn and CC Batson.
This is a nod to CC Beck, one of the co-creators of Billy Batson / Captain Marvel, which is the name that Shazam originally went by. Number 7. Fawcett High School. Shazam might be the property of DC Comics, but that's not where he got his start. When he made his debut in 1939 as Captain Marvel, it was in the pages of Whiz Comics, which was published by Fawcett Comics. Due to the many similarities between Captain Marvel and Superman, Fawcett found themselves involved in a lengthy, not to mention costly legal battle with DC, which ultimately ended with the latter company gaining the rights to Captain Marvel.
How do we do this?
Just like Superman it.
All things considered, you might think that the name Fawcett would be a bad word over at DC headquarters. But the film instead included a nice nod to the original publisher, naming the local school after the now defunct comic book company.
I invited another friend. I hope that's okay.
Number 6. The Big Keyboard. As previously mentioned, Captain Marvel dates back to the mid-1900s, and from the very beginning, his has been the story of a young boy who transforms into a grown-up superhero when he says the magic word Shazam.
It's me, it's Billy! It's Billy! You asked me, flight or invisibility, and I thought that was stupid, but now I look like this and I need your help!
As such, it far predates Big, a film starring Tom Hanks in which a young boy suddenly discovers that he's become a grown-up overnight.
Mom, it's me. It's Josh. Mom, I'm a grown-up. Stop it! Mom, I made a wish last night. I turned into a grown-up, Mom. I made this wish on the machine, and it turned me into a grown-up.
Be that as it may, in transitioning to the big screen, Shazam clearly took some inspiration from the beloved fantasy comedy film, both in terms of tone and its handling of the protagonist's strange predicament.
So it's, in a way, it's like Big, but with superpowers, so it's even better.
In a nice nod to Big, Shazam and Dr. Sivana's conflict takes them over a giant walkable keyboard, reminiscent of the one played by Josh in Big. Number 5. The History of Black Adam. For years now, long before Zachary Levi was cast in this film, there's been talk of Dwayne Johnson playing Shazam's arch-nemesis Black Adam.
Black Adam is an anti-hero or villain who I cannot wait to play. I've been developing this, and it's been with me in my DNA for over 10 years now.
As such, fans were a little disappointed when they heard that the character wouldn't be appearing in the film.
The challenges and the struggles that we were having and that was gnawing at my gut is that we were trying to tell two origin stories in one script.
Many couldn't help but assume that the filmmakers were just trying to keep a cameo under wraps. Well, it turns out they weren't lying, as The Rock never appeared. What we did get, however, was the brief history of Black Adam, which the wizard Shazam presents as his greatest mistake.
But long ago, we chose a champion, and we chose recklessly.
This serves as a nice setup for the solo Black Adam movie to come, after which we will hopefully get the inevitable crossover in which the characters finally come to blows.
He used his power for revenge, releasing the 7 deadly sins into your world.
Number 4. Mr. Mind's post-credit scene. Shazam has a long and wonderfully strange history, but given the challenges of translating the weirder stuff to the big screen, many fans had mentally prepared themselves to see a toned-down version of the character and his adventures.
My name is Shazam.
Wait, for real?
As such, it was quite the pleasant surprise when a worm matching the description of the villainous Mr. Mind was seen in the wizard's cave. That alone was a solid bit of fan service, but then the mid-credit scene came, and Mr. Mind was established as a genuine threat moving forward in the franchise.
Oh, what fun we're going to have together. The 7 realms are about to be ours.
A Venusian mind-enthralling extraterrestrial worm who uses an amplifier to speak, and the leader of the Monster Society of Evil. Mr. Mind is one of Shazam's oldest and oddest villains.
I need all of my power to defeat Mr. Mind.
You mean the harmless worm that uses the tiny speaker box with which to communicate? Leave me be, or I will destroy you all!
Number 3. Tawny Thani. Though the filmmakers managed to fit Mr. Mind into the DC film universe, it would seem that Tawny Thani was too much for the narrative to handle.
Cool, the tiger! I'll be right back!
For those unfamiliar, Tawny Thani is a tiger who has often been a part of Shazam's cast of supporting characters.
And I can count on you to keep the other animals out of trouble. Good. I'll be back for a visit. I promise.
Most recently, he's been depicted as a conventional tiger who shares a bond with Billy Batson, and who occasionally gets imbued with powers as needed.
I think I'll call him Mr. Tawny.
Back in the Fawcett days, however, Tawny was first introduced as an anthropomorphic talking tiger. Though Tawny didn't appear in the film, Billy's affinity for tigers was made very clear through a tiger logo on Billy's backpack and a number of tiger plush dolls.
I want the tiger.
I know, honey.
Number 2. The Crocodile Man. Like we said, one of the biggest challenges of adapting superhero comics is navigating the often silly or downright absurd bits of mythology that some of the older characters have accrued over the decades.
Say my name.
Billy!
No, not my name. No, say the name that I say to turn into this guy.
Shazam has more than his fair share, but director David F. Sandberg somehow makes it work. The moment that Sandberg really established himself as the filmmaker Shazam deserves was when he included the Crocodile Man. These humanoid reptiles, who date back to the 1940s, are an alien race from the planet Plunkus, at least originally. They could be dismissed as an isolated reference for diehards, but coupled with the inclusion of the aforementioned Mr. Mind, they could equally be teasing totally out-of-this-world things to come in the sequel.
You assume there's only one way to gain magic. No, no, no. There are more ways than a mind can imagine.
Crocodiles and tigers and worms? Oh my. Shazam is sillier than I thought. But honestly, isn't that just what the DCEU needed? So how many of these Easter eggs did you notice on your first go-round? Thoughts on what's at number 1? Well, let's see what it is after these honorable mentions.
Foster home in Pittsburgh reported you missing 2 weeks ago.
Gee whiz, mister. Sorry I took your cane. Hands. Lightning with my hands. Lightning with my hands. Lightning with my hands.
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1, the Shazam Family. Traditional Easter egg? Maybe not. But this third act twist was massive.
You're not gonna believe this, but you're actually the first villain I've ever fought. It's like kind of a huge deal for me.
In this modern age of widespread spoilers and set photo leaks, it's truly incredible that the filmmakers managed to keep this under wraps.
No. It's not possible.
Shazam has been sharing his powers with his extended family and friends dating all the way back to 1941. In the modern comics, the Shazam family of heroes consists of Billy Batson and his 5 foster siblings. So when his brothers and sisters were introduced in the film, people suspected that the Shazam family was potentially being set up for the sequel.
Is he just scared of me and my family because we're so awesome? Because I get that.
But to have them transform in Shazam's first cinematic outing, that's a truly mind-blowing and expertly executed bit of fan service. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.